Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all happy and healthy out there in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of none other than Batman himself, aka Bruce Wayne, aka Christian Bale, from the Nolanverse trilogy. This is the DX19 Hot Toys 4th iteration of the Dark Knight, I believe. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories. Then it'll be out with the Dark Knight himself for a close-up look, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end, where we'll be reintroducing the Caped Crusader to some old friends and old foes as well. But before we get into it, a massive shout out to everyone who subscribed to the channel and supported us since we first started. It's amazing the response we've had, and to those of you who are watching the channel and the content but not subscribing, and I know there's a lot of you out there, stop hanging around on the sidelines and jump into the game. It's cost and pain free, and you'll be supporting us to continue doing what we're doing here at Go Figure. And you'll have the added bonus that, that you can virtue signal to the rest of the world that you've made an old man happy in his twilight years. And there's no better feeling than that. So, background. This figure was released about 2 years ago, and I believe it's the 4th iteration of the Dark Knight that Hot Toys had produced. And it courted a little bit of controversy on its release. And as viewers to my channel will know, I am a huge Batman fan, in particular the Nolanverse trilogy. And I picked this figure up on its release. It's not brand new to us. It's already been out of the box. And I got this because I was after a definitive Dark Knight Rises 6 scale figure. And as we all know, since its release, it's pretty much every company has or is throwing its hat into the ring with this character and the Christian Bale take on Batman. It seems to be still one of the most popular characters in any scale across the board. So let's find out if Hot Toys DX19 has stood the test of time. Firstly, the box. It's a big one, as we've come to expect from Hot Toys DX line. Very, very nicely presented. It's not the usual magnetically clamped sort of gatefold thing that Hot Toys have going on with their DX. What we've got here is more of a, how can I describe this? It's sort of a sideways shoebox design, but on the front here you've got this really, really nice sort of artist rendition of Christian Bale as Batman himself, done in this grayscale. There's a sort of Gotham City skyline at the back there. There's all these sort of bits and pieces flying around. In the middle here, in this really super reflective silver foil, you've got the Dark Knight, the bat symbol itself. It says Trilogy underneath. Underneath that, it says Batman DX19. In the bottom left corner, Hot Toys DX. Bottom right corner, DC's logo. Have a look at the sides here, and it is a big box. Getting all of this into shot won't be easy, but on the sides here, very, very simple. It says the Dark Knight the Dark Knight Trilogy, the bat symbol again, DX19. I think that's pretty much repeated on this side, other than the fact that you have this here that says Batman Defender of Gotham City. DC DX19 on the bottom there. This is in grayscale, in keeping with the box on the inside. On the back, you have all your warnings, all your credits, all your notices. You can pause here if you want to read them. Yeah, credits at the top there, warnings at the bottom. Don't piss this figure off, or you might find yourself excommunicated by a gang of psychopaths. What have we got on the top? On the top, very, very simple. DX19, DC again. I think it's the same story on the bottom. Yes, it is. Now, we'll try and open this box on camera. It's a really, really nicely done box, as we've come to expect from Hot Toys with their DX range. The card is super high quality, and it looks fantastic. So when you open this box up, if it will open up on camera, what you see first of all when you open the box up is this sort of slip cover, which is actually it's card adhered to the foam, which when you remove, obviously you've got the figure underneath here. No figure here, as I mentioned before. This isn't a brand new figure to me. It's been out of the box already. But yeah, on this on this foam inlay, there's a card on top of it, and once again you've got a continuation of that grayscale sort of city skyline, obviously meant to represent Gotham there. Once again, Batman, Defender of Gotham City at the bottom. And then you have this, rather unusual. Now, DX releases have been known to have all kinds of things. I know the DX Joker release had playing cards in the middle there. I believe there was a rose with the DX Mime Joker, but this one comes with what I can only describe as a luggage tag, stroke key fob, stroke something. You've got a key fob chain thingy-majig going on in the centre here, one of those circles for attaching key fobs, and then you've got this sort of, it's made out of foam, yeah, it's the bat symbol itself in this sort of hard foam stuck onto a slightly softer, what I can only describe as nylon type material. It says Batman DX19 on the back there. Yeah, odd choice this one, not something I would have gone for, but yeah, it's there if you want it. So that's the box. So without further ado, let's dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that come with your Batman figure. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Dark Knight Batman Hot Toys figure. There's a lot to go at here. This obviously is a DX, so we'd expect a decent array of accessories. So we'll crack on. We'll start with the hands as we always do. You know me and my hands. There are 3 pairs of hands with this figure. There's a fisted pair already on the figure itself, and then there's these 2 extra sets of hands. So that's only 6 hands in total. Not a vast amount of hands here from Hot Toys, but we'll take a close-up look at the detailing and the sculpt. So we'll grab one at random and get this guy into shot and have a look at it. So the sculpting looks really good here. There's all different types of texturing on here. The screen accuracy looks on point. Yeah, you've got different textures on the knuckles there. You've got these super high gloss sections on the knuckles at the top here. The ends of the fingers, once again, super high gloss, as is this stripe here. There's creases in there. There's more of a dotted texturing in the palm there. Overall, just very, very nicely done. Multiple textures, multiple paint applications, screen accurate, and they look on point to me. Let's do the flexibility test. Yeah, we've got a medium here, which is nice to see. So good for gripping the accessories that come with the figure. So yeah, you've got that sort of relatively open palm hand. Let's bring another one into shot. You've also got this gripping hand. It's the same story here. Same level of sculpt, same level of paint application. Grab one more. Yeah, another gripping hand, only a left hand this time. Exactly the same, pretty much, other than the shape of the hand itself. So yeah, very well painted, very well sculpted, and screen accurate as far as I can tell. So let's put those hands to one side. Let's get this base out of the way as well. This base is absolutely huge, so we'll make some space with this base. So yeah, what you've got here is an all plastic sort of semi-diorama stand stroke base. Very reminiscent of the DX12. Now, I don't have the DX12 in my collection, but as far as I can gather, this is almost identical. It's all plastic. We'll take a look at the bottom first. No padded feet on here, unfortunately, so watch out for slipping and sliding on glass shelves or on any form of shelf if you're putting it into your display. Eagle-eyed amongst you as well will notice that there is a sealed up battery compartment here, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to that when we flip this thing over. So what have you got on top? On top here you've got this sort of stepped effect. There's snow on here. The rock itself looks chipped. The concrete, if it's concrete, or the flagstones look chipped. There's some lovely paint applications on there to pick out the details. There's dry washing in the crevices to create that stone effect. And then you've got this bat symbol, sort of, how can I say this, struck into the stone and imprinted into the stone itself, which is really, really nicely done. There's cracks in there that have been picked out with black detailing. You've got a snow effect on here as well, which is rather simplistic but quite well done, and painted in this white paint with a little bit of shading on it. And overall, yeah, it's a very, very nice stand. It's relatively straightforward, relatively simple, but very, very well done. I mentioned the DX12 stand when we were looking underneath this, and that's because pretty much this is a repurposing, I think, of the DX12 stand. What gives it away, obviously, is the design. Although they have Hot Toys have repainted this section. The DX12 was a different paint design, but the actual overall sculpt itself is pretty much identical. The only thing that really differs is the paint job on the paving section here, and the actual nameplate at the front is slightly different. But this one says the Dark Knight Trilogy and Batman on it. And the biggest giveaway is actually these here in these corners, these lights, and that's where that battery compartment that we spoke about before comes into play. Normally you would slot some batteries in there and these would light up. They've obviously repurposed the base and decided to take out that light up feature that was there within the DX12 stand. It's a very nice stand, and I have no complaints about the sculpting or the paintwork or anything like that, but it does smack of, how can I say, we'll call it repurposing. I think if you're going to produce a new figure and call it DX, then it does deserve, really, perhaps, a whole new stand rather than repurposing an old one. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, Hot Toys. It's not something we want to see too much of, is the repurposing, although I think we've seen quite a bit of it already. So yeah, that's the stand. It comes with a standard issue crotch grabber, well, slightly angled one, so that it'll fit over the ledge at the back here, and we'll just put that on so you can see how that works. Simply snap it into place, and yeah, there you have the completed stand itself. So we'll pop that to one side to make a bit of space. What shall we take a look at next? Let's take a look at some of the weaponry here. We'll start off with the batarangs. There's 3 of these. As viewers to my channel know, I have sausage fingers, so I've got to be super careful with these. These aren't metal, these are just plastic. There's 3 of them. It's the bat symbol. They've got this sort of bronze stroke copper paint application on them. Yeah, yeah, they're very, very simple, very, very straightforward. 3 of them, plastic, screen accurate. We'll put those to one side. What else do you get? 2 sticky bombs. 2 of these included. These are in the, I believe these are in the armed state. When these pins pop out, they're actually armed. Prior to it being armed, they're actually inside. But yeah, all one piece of sculpted plastic with some black paint applications and some silver paint applications. Nothing too fancy. Yeah, and 2 of for the use in your display if you so wish. So yeah, that's the sticky bombs. Let's take a look at the grapple gun. This is very, very nicely done, actually. All sculpted plastic here, as far as I can tell. The detailing is screen accurate. You've once again got that sort of copper stroke, brass stroke gold, slightly faded metallic paint on there, which is screen accurate. The shape is correct. There's no working trigger or anything like that on this grapple gun, although it does have, for some odd reason, it has a cocking action. I don't know whether the camera's picking this up, but not quite sure why they put that in there, because really at the end of the day it doesn't serve much of a purpose, and I can't really see that being used in the display. But okay, it's there, and I believe this section underneath as well is removable if you're wanting to take that off. Can't see why you'd want to do that either, but yeah, nicely sculpted, nicely painted, and screen accurate. So that's the grapple gun. Let's take a look at the EMP gun while we are on the weapons. Now, this is once again all one piece of sculpted plastic. I'll try and get this all in shot. Not much by the way of paint applications on here. In fact, I'm not sure there are any at all, to be honest with you. It looks like it's simply the colour of the plastic as it was when it came out of the mould. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but there might be some on there, but I'm not really seeing it. But yeah, as I say, all one piece of sculpted plastic. It looks screen accurate to me. The shape is there. The detailing is quite nice in the sculpt, if not in the paint applications. And this has a party piece, and as you can see, it cocks back like that. And cocks forward, and when you cock it back like that, what it reveals are these LEDs at the end. Now, this is one of my bugbears with these accessories, and I have a few, to be honest with you. Now, I'm trying to find the battery compartment on here, and that's no mean feat. I believe, yeah, there it is. If you slide this section off here, I hope the camera's picking this up, and you take this section off here, what you are greeted with is a battery compartment which takes these batteries, which are included with the figure itself. Now, unless you are an advanced neurosurgeon, which I am not, I have sausage fingers, unfortunately, as I mentioned, getting the batteries in here for its party piece are damn near impossible. I struggled for about half an hour prior to shooting this review so that I could show you this light up feature, but it just simply wasn't having it. Using tweezers to try and get in batteries this size into a space this small is damn near impossible. So yeah, I think it's... I mean, okay, it is 2 years old, this figure, but I think it's the idea of these minute button cell batteries has long since passed its sell-by date. Hot Toys, please don't make figures with button cell batteries. That's my opinion. But basically, if you do, by some minor miracle, manage to get those batteries into that compartment and get the top back on it, there is a button on the bottom here, an on-off button. You simply flip that button, and what happens is you are instantaneously disappointed that you spent an hour trying to get those things in. Because what you've got at the top there, and I'll try and get this in shot, is one LED under those top rows of bars, and that is it. And it's not the brightest LED in the world. I have seen it lit up. I did manage to get batteries in at one point by some miracle. Yeah, so one LED there, which is meant to light up all these, but obviously it doesn't. The light up feature is not particularly good. You get a little bit of light in the top section here, but the rest of it instantaneously bleeds out. Really, if you're going to do this feature, they should have put multiple LEDs between each row of these sections of the EMP to create that firing effect. So yeah, I was going to say it's a nice addition, but really it's a bit of an afterthought and really not worth the effort, in my opinion. If you are going to include a light up feature like this, Hot Toys, please come up with a power solution that's a little bit more user friendly, and also as well, yeah, give us a full row of LEDs on the front there rather than just the one. So yeah, that's my complaints over about the EMP gun. We'll put that to one side. Other weapons, yeah, sticky bomb gun. Now, once again, this is all one piece of sculpted plastic, screen accurate as far as I can tell. Now, this whole thing actually expands out. This trigger section here can actually be folded away underneath the... I'm not going to attempt to do it because it is incredibly flimsy, although it did work that time. So yeah, it comes like this, but you can basically unfold this entire thing. You can bring the trigger out. You can actually slide the front section out. You can slide this section out and then twist it to create the shoulder stock. And then what you have there is the EMP gun in all its glory. All one piece of sculpted plastic. Not much by the way of paint applications. You've got some sort of that bronze again, that coppery bronze effect paint that you see on the grapple guns reused here to detailing. There's some sort of metal riveting done. There's some red sections on here. Overall, pretty good paint applications, if not the most comprehensive I've seen on an accessory. And it looks screen accurate to me. My major gripe with this is simply how flimsy it is, and I know the design itself is flimsy. If you look at the way that this thing's put together, in places it's top heavy. It's held together only by these sections here, so it is going to be flimsy. But the solution that Hot Toys have come up with is simply that, which is a peg, and a very small peg it is too. So once you've got this on here, it just moves around, and it's been like that. I got this figure as new, was new actually, and I've had this issue from the get-go. Is trying to pose this figure with this accessory is damn near impossible because it just falls apart. So yeah, very, very flimsy, unfortunately. As I say, part of that is the nature of the design of the sticky bomb gun, and part of that is down to Hot Toys. They could have come up with a better solution for this here. Simply just a deeper peg, a longer peg, and a longer hole would have sorted that issue out. That is way too small and way too flimsy, and it just falls apart. But yeah, that's your sticky bomb gun. We'll put that to one side. Onto the important stuff. No, actually, let's just get rid of the rest of these accessories first. Couple of spare pair of wrist pegs. So you've got 2 spare wrist pegs there. Good to see, as always, unopened, which is always a good sign. Pop those to one side. You get this little tool, which is for the moving eyeball system, which we'll take a look at shortly when we look at the head sculpts. So nice to see that included. This neck extender. Now, this neck extender is for use with the Bruce Wayne, the Christian Bale head sculpt, the unmasked head sculpt, which we'll take a look at shortly. And we'll also take a look at how this works when we bring the figure out itself. So yeah, you get that neck extender, and finally, and probably most importantly, the head sculpts themselves. So 3 head sculpts in total. We'll take a look at the unmasked head sculpt first. This is the Christian Bale head sculpt, the Bruce Wayne one, and straight away I have to say I am very, very impressed with this one. Now there are probably more Christian Bale Batman head sculpts out there than I have had hot dinners. Every company has had a bash at some point, and there are constantly new ones coming out. But I think for its time, for a 2-year-old figure, I think they've done a really, really good job here. I've only seen photographs of the Armory Batman and the DX12, but from what I can glean from those photos, this is the superior head sculpt. The sculpt itself is really, really nice. The hair is really well done. There's individual strands picked out there. There's shading in the hair, especially into the hairline. The hairstyle itself looks on point to me. The skin tones are really, really well painted. They're up to the usual Hot Toys high standards. That tone from multiple paint applications and that texturing is really nice. There's texturing in the neck as well. Maybe, I suppose, if I had to one complaint, and this is probably because I've been spoiled with things like seeing JND's stuff and in-art stuff, is it might look a little bit soft by today's standards. But still, I think it is a very, very good head sculpt. The creases between the eyes there, really well done. Those lips are painted well. The eyes are the right colour, and I know that initially Hot Toys had, how we say, experienced some issues with getting the right shade for the eyes there, that sort of hazel green stroke brown, but they've nailed it with this one, and they're very, very nice and glassy. And overall, yeah, just a very, very good Christian Bale head sculpt. So yeah, that's the uncowled head sculpt. Let's take a look at the Sonar Eye head sculpt. Now that seems to have got something caught on it there. Apologies for that. I shall try and remove that with a brush between takes. So yeah, the Sonar head sculpt. Now this one, both of the cowled head sculpts have interchangeable mouth plates, and we'll take a look at each of those individually. But this one has a party piece. Now this one, the actual batteries themselves are ever so slightly easier to put in, not by much. And I still did struggle, but I did manage to get the batteries in here. So if the camera's catching this here, inside you've got a battery compartment with an on-off switch. Simply take that out. It's a couple of these microscopic batteries go inside, and if you flip that button in there, if I can reach it, and there you go. Very, very bright indeed, and very, very effective. The light up feature in the eyes there. I do like that. I think it's very, very well done. Light up features is something I don't tend to use in my display too often, simply because it's getting into the display, getting the figure out, getting the head off, turning it on, putting it on. But with batteries that last literally minutes, it all seems like too much like hard work to me. I am a big fan of the way we're moving forward with USB powered light up effects, but yeah, they still do look very good, and the sculpt itself is very good. Let's turn them off because I don't want to be dazzling people while we take a look at the actual sculpt itself. Now, getting that thing to turn off is no easy task either. You've got to get your finger right inside there. There we go. We've turned it off. As I say, something seems to be caught on that eye there. We'll clean that up after this review. So, sculpt itself, very, very good. The cowl, the mask looks very, very good, very screen accurate. The paint applications are right. The colour's right. The proportions look on point to me. Now, as I mentioned before, we've got the interchangeable mouth plates. You can either push from the back there, and once again, this isn't the easiest thing in the world. So you can use this tool that they provide and just simply get it on the back there, and it'll push that mouth plate out, and you can swap it out with any one of the other 3 that it comes with. But overall, yeah, paint application's good, screen accuracy's there, and just overall nicely done, and a nice light up feature. Unfortunately spoiled by microscopic batteries and being way too fiddly, so we'll put that to one side. Take a look at the other cowl head sculpt. Now, the mouth plates change in exactly the same way on this one as they do with the other one. Only difference being here that you've obviously got the visible eyes. The eyes underneath there have got that black surround to them. They look really well done, super glassy. The paint applications are really nice. Magnetic head sculpts on both of these cowled head sculpts. So yeah, just overall very, very, very well done. So let's take a look at some of these interchangeable mouth plates. So as I said, there's 4. Now you've got, and I'll try and get these all in shot, minus the cowl, sort of a neutral one, which is a bit bland, if that makes sense. Sort of the angry, shouty mouth plate. Now, the teeth have been really well sculpted on this. The paint applications are very good, and we'll pop it into the actual cowl so you can get an idea of how it looks. Now, it's not, perhaps not my preferred look, but it's better than others, shall we say. But the paint applications are really nice. They match the quality of the uncowled head sculpt, and the sculpting and paint application on those teeth is really, really nice. If I get this as close as I can into camera, you'll see that. But yeah, we'll pop that one off. We'll try another one, and let's try this one at random. No, let's try this one because this is one that that one really does not work for me. We'll call, I think that's called duck face. A lot of people, I think, nickname that one duck face. Not sure what's going on with that particular expression, but it doesn't work for me, and not one that I use on a regular basis. But yeah, so you've got those 4 to play around with, and you can play around with them on the sonar head sculpt or on the normal cowled head sculpt. So yeah, there you have it. That's all the variations on a theme of head sculpt for this figure. So without further ado, let's bring out the Dark Knight himself, get him onto the stand, get him onto the turntable, and take a close-up look at him. Okay, so here he is. It's the Dark Knight himself, straight onto the stand, straight onto the turntable, and I can't give first impressions, but as regulars to my channel will know, I can give 10th, 20th, 100th impressions on this figure. And yes, straight away, I think the proportions are absolutely spot on. The suit itself looks completely screen accurate. It's imposing. The presence is there. The sculpting looks absolutely excellent, and yeah, just overall a really, really excellent piece. But as always, what we'll do is we'll have a close-up look at him, and we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. We'll stop him from spinning. Because I know that there have been, shall we say, discussions around this piece. And I will say from the get-go here, I am no expert on this particular suit. I am a huge Batman fan, but I don't have perhaps the minutiae level of knowledge on this particular suit that a lot of people do have. But I will do my best on this one, having seen the film on numerous occasions and being a massive fan. So yeah, let's get this guy off the turntable. Let's get him into camera, and let's have a close-up look at him. So let's start at the bottom, as we always do, and work our way up with these boots. So what you've got here is a split-cut boot design. There's some nice tread on the bottom there, which is good to see. They're sculpted plastic, these boots. The nature of the split-cut boot design is quite good, so it's difficult to see that join, which is nice. The sculpting on there is nice with the different textures, and then it runs up into the main body of the boot itself, where that texturing is continued. These are all plastic, and the range of motion in there is pretty good. So yeah, a good start with the feet. Let's try and get this cape out of the way. So let's get on to the actual suit itself. Underneath the suit, what you're looking at is a material. Now, this is nice to see. As I say, I've never owned any of the previous iterations of Batman from Hot Toys. Well, this particular version of Batman. However, the fact that they have used material under here, rather than that sort of, how can I put this, that the Spider-Man plastic, if that makes sense, that plastic that has the look of material screen printed onto it, and is known for not having much longevity, of splitting and tearing and so on. So it's nice to see that they've gone for a full material suit underneath, and that's continued all the way through the body of the suit itself. All these sections of armour are plastic, which I believe has been stuck on to the figure. These knee pads have been stuck on as well. This might limit articulation somewhat. I tend to keep this guy pretty much in a museum pose. Never really gone for any high levels of dynamic posing with it, but I mean, it's got a multi-ratchet in the knee joint there, so you've got some real scope for movement there. We'll flip him round so we can take a look at the back. Now the panels are continued up through the legs, all the way up through the back itself. These panels which are stuck onto that material, as we mentioned before. The screen accuracy looks on point. The colour looks on point. And as you work your way up, you come to this utility belt. Now, this utility belt is free floating. Sometimes it does need some futzing to get it down, because it has a tendency to want to ride quite high. And so, yeah, futzing a little bit to bring it down as low as possible is always a good idea. The screen accuracy looks nice in there. The screen accuracy of the sculpt of this belt in particular looks on point to me. The paint applications look good. You've got that copper stroke, bronze stroke, dull gold metallic effect continued from the grapple gun and the batarangs, and you've got sort of pockets and bits and pieces stuck to the side there. They're all sculpted on. You've got a silver tone in there to contrast the gold tone. If we bring it round the back as well, what you've got here is a place for the grapple gun to sit, and I'll just bring that in so we can see if that will actually fit in. I've always found this is incredibly loose, and I don't tend to display it. One, because it throws off the fall of the cape, and two, simply because it is exceptionally loose and just wants to fall out all the time. But if you're wanting to pose it that way, you can try and balance it in there. But yeah, it fits in, or almost fits in there. But yeah, let's keep on with the back here and the level of detailing here. The sculpt at the back, it actually changes from being stuck to the plastic to slightly more free floating. Now these are softer, these pieces of plastic up the spinal section here. So if you're posing it, and there's a good range of motion, relatively good considering the amount of stuff that he's got attached to his body in the waist section there. But yeah, these are softer, which is good to see, so they're not rubbing against any other areas of the figure. We'll lift his arms up so you can see these panels underneath. Now these panels continue right the way around to the front, and once again all this armour is stuck on to this suit underneath, this material suit. The paint applications are really nice. The sculpt looks screen accurate to me. You can actually almost see underneath the armour itself that carbon fibre weave underneath, which is really well done. You've got the bat symbol sculpted onto the chest. All the shoulder pads are attached by this strapping underneath the arms and are screen accurate. Coming down the arms, you come to these the gauntlets. Now, I would say exercise caution if you have this figure or you're thinking of picking this figure up. These are very, very sharp. We don't want anybody doing a mischief to themselves out there. But and this was another bugbear for a lot of people was actually this, that when you articulate the arm, and the range of motion in there is very good considering the nature of the suit, that these arm pads have a tendency to stick out, and to be 100% screen accurate, they should remain flush to the arm itself, to the elbow itself. I don't have a problem with that. It's not something that sort of stands out in the display for me, and as I say, I tend to keep him in a neutral pose anyway, so that's not an issue. But overall, yeah, the materials they've used here are really, really good. The screen accuracy is on point. The paint applications are nice. And overall, just a very, very well done suit. So let's take a look at this cape now. I'm not too impressed with this cape, and I know that A lot of collectors out there, when they picked up this figure, immediately went straight for a custom cape, and I can see why they did that. I haven't done that. Just never got round to it, to be honest with you. But yeah, the material in this cape is a little on the flimsy side. It feels like a cotton material. It might be man-made. I'm not 100% certain. It is a dust magnet, as you're probably spotting. It picks up small hairs and so on. But it's very, very simplistic, and it's simply attached at the shoulder areas there. And I believe you can actually remove this by removing these sections underneath here. If the camera's catching that, I'll try and get into that shot. You can lift these portions up here and actually take the cape off if you're wanting to. Not something I've ever done with this figure, but yeah, a little bit of a letdown, this cape. I would like to have seen it wired. I would like to see it with a more screen accurate material. Most certainly could benefit from some wiring. It is a little bit too thin. It falls quite nicely, considering, but overall, yeah, not the best cape I've ever come across. Could have done better, shall we say, Hot Toys, on that one. And also, it's got this nylon section underneath it. Now, I'm not sure what that's there for, whether that's designed to protect the material from catching in any of these gaps in the armour. Not 100% certain, but yeah, that's there for whatever reason it might be there for. And on to the head sculpt. Now, we've looked at the head sculpt, so we've no reason to go into that, but another complaint here, and this is something I found does niggle me a little bit, is this neck. Now, when you've got him looking forward like this, which is sort of my preferred way to display him, it gives you that gives me that sort of menacing feel that he has. But any other position can be a little bit problematic, in as much as, well, if I try and get it straight on there, you might be able to see what I mean. It looks a touch giraffe neck. That neck looks slightly too long, and you're getting gaps when you have him looking straight on. I'll try and catch that. You get sort of these gaps at the front and the back, which take away that illusion of the seamless cowl running into the seamless body armour a little bit. It's great that it's a magnetic head, because it gives you a huge range of motion. It's really nice to see that. But for some reason, and also straight into the body as well, there's a range of motion in there as well. So you really can go to town with this one. But I mean, that's a prime example. If you go for that looking up pose, and I'll try and just bring this into it, it just looks a little bit giraffe neck to me. That neck, I think, could have been done with just being a little bit stockier and a little bit shorter. But it is what it is. Yeah, so that is Batman, aka Christian Bale, from the Dark Knight Trilogy, from Hot Toys. Let's get him back on this stand and spinning again, in all his glory. So, thoughts. Now, this is it's an interesting one, this one, because with it being out for a while, and with everybody sort of jumping in and saying their piece on this one, it's quite difficult to be subjective on this one. Is it the definitive Batman I was looking for in the collection? No. Is it a very, very good representation of the Dark Knight and Christian Bale? Yes, it definitely is. I've not got into that minute examination that I know a lot of people in the collecting community have gone into, and I would say, though, a lot of that criticism is justified. Some of the figure does smack of a rehash, particularly that base. Rather than a DX upgrade, feels like a redo rather than a remake. So a score out of 10 on this one. It's very difficult, because not owning any other Dark Knight Batman figures, I would be tempted to give this a 9 or a 10. Because I think it is absolutely fantastic. However, I think I've been slightly influenced, shall we say, by time and by other opinion, and I think it does have its issues. First and foremost, that neck. There is something wrong in that neck area, which I'm not 100% happy about, which I think could have been taken care of. That cape, Yeah, that's not DX material as far as I'm concerned. As are some of the, then that's a problem that extends to some of the accessories as well. They're not DX material. The fiddly battery solution is just ridiculous. The way some of them are put together, particularly the sticky bomb gun, doesn't smack DX to me. The repurposing of that base from the DX12, they're all going to bring the score down a little bit. I will give this probably an 8, an 8.5. If I'd woken up one morning feeling particularly generous, I might even err towards a 9. But as it stands, those minor niggles, and there's no one big thing that causes this this particular piece to come crashing down in the score department. Sometimes it's the head sculpt is completely off, or sometimes it's there's a fault somewhere. With this, it's just an accumulation, shall we say, of minor niggles that have brought that score down. But I think, for me personally, I absolutely love having it in the collection. I think alongside my other Nolan verse figures, it displays brilliantly, and I absolutely love it. But I think it's just plagued by some minor niggles, which we really shouldn't be seeing in a DX from Hot Toys. But there you have it. That is the Dark Knight himself from Hot Toys. So what are your thoughts on this? Is it a figure you've got in your collection? What's your take on it? I'd be fascinated to hear. So drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know. As I say, absolutely fascinated to hear your take on this one. I hope this review's been useful. I suppose all it remains for me to say, oh yeah, before we do the final wrapping up, what's coming soon on the channel? Yeah, well, in the 6 scale world, we have got a raft of stuff. There's the, from Org Toys, we've got Gurney Halleck and Duke Leto Atreides from June. We have got the VTS Toys Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake. One I'm particularly looking forward to, Blitzway, Astro Boys Deluxe Edition, and that's the version 2.0. We've got Redman Dracula Blue, that's the version 2.0. That's Gary Oldman from Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's the formal wear version. We've got Mondo's MacReady from The Thing. Looking forward to that one as well. A boatload of stuff from Present Toys, including Anton Chigurh, which is Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men, Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver from Aliens. We've got Mad Max, aka Tom Hardy from Fury Road. Premier Toys, Interstellar, and the Doof Warrior from... I could go on. The list is endless, as you can probably imagine. So please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything coming up on the channel. And all it remains for me to say is thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.